one child from each tribe was chosen to be inflicted with the curse of Thorn. Whenever it appears, he appears.
What the hell is going on? Look out, there's someone in the room. He's right behind you.
Help me!
You've won. He's yours. Come with us.
No, I have a little business to attend to here.
So what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the JEFFMAN316 Pop Culture Reporter channel. I'm your host, as always, JEFFMAN316. And tonight we're talking Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. So yeah, if you saw in the intro, most of those clips that I put up there, if anybody watches this back, a lot of that is going to be from the theatrical cut of the Curse of Michael Myers. I watched both cuts of the movie this past week, and so anybody that watches this now or later, I would like your input on which cut of the movie that you like the best. The reason that we're talking Halloween 6 in this stream is because as you might know, I'm a member of a group that's doing reviewing the movies in the Halloween franchise, and it's called Hallow Scream. And so we're doing the reviews. I'm in the middle of trying to edit my review for Halloween 5 right now. And I had some trouble with it today. So as soon as we get off of here tonight, I'm going to go try to re-edit that. So the next review that I'll be doing is for Halloween 6. It's not officially called Halloween 6, but that's what I call it. Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. So I've watched both cuts of it during the week. Got interrupted during one and rewound it. It's like it's a videotape. Restarted it. And so I want to let you know, I think right off the bat, a majority of the movie, I think I like the heart of the producer's cut. And I like the producer's cut, the way that he uses a lot of the original music from the rest of the franchise. The theatrical cut, to me, I know I've watched a couple of reviewers that review movies for a lot longer than I have on YouTube, and they tend to like the theatrical cut with a lot of that. I think the theatrical cut's the one that has like that rock type music. I'm not big into that. I like the original music as far as some of the themes, the main Halloween theme, some of the other themes that are used throughout the movie. But coincidence, just got done watching this producer's cut the way I went. So when you watch it, do you normally watch the producer's cut, or do you watch both? That's what I was starting with, is the differences in the two. I like the producer's cut as far as the heart of the movie, like where Michael is stalking and the music they use or whatever. But I don't like the beginning and ending of it. I think the producer's cut has got Donald Pleasance doing the opening. I was never a fan of Paul Rudd in this movie, so as little Paul Rudd as I can get. He did a decent job, but man, there's just some scenes in there that are cringeworthy when he makes some of his reactions, especially like at the end when he's in the hallway, and Michael appears. I really enjoyed the producer's cut, to be honest. It explains a lot more. Yeah, I do. Other than I don't like the ending of the producer's cut as much. With isn't that in the producer's cut? I think I just don't want to confuse them. The one where Loomis is standing outside and he gets the mark, and then they show where Michael is now wearing the um, the boots and his mask is gone, and so he basically becomes the man in black and walks off. Never been a big fan of that. I'm just not a Thorn cult guy, and the producer's cut goes all in on the cult shit, and I'm just never a big fan of that. So the reason that I like the heart of the movie is because it's got some, to me, the kills are better. The movie's better edited. It's like I said, it's got better musical cues. I really do think the movie plays better in the middle of the producer's cut. But I also don't like the fact that they kill Jamie off so early. I'm thinking the theatrical cut is where Jamie gets killed at the very beginning by Michael. But then they don't really do anything with her. So, you go back to that whole thing of Daniel Harris not being in the movie, them, I think, shitting on a lot of the rest of the series, because I watched a review or an interview with Daniel Harris this week in preparation for my review to see if I wanted to put any in it. Any of her thoughts into my review of the movie. And the one thing that I will say is she did an interview where she basically said, went through the whole scenario of her getting emancipated or whatever. She saw, I think, her publicist or somebody in her, working with her, probably agent, saw like a trade ad that they were looking for somebody like Daniel Harris to play in Halloween, this Halloween 6. And they even used not an actual photo. It was more like a reverse negative. You could tell it was her, but they wanted somebody that looked like her. And so she said, well, instead of having somebody look like her, why don't I do it? So when she checked into it, she said that it was because they wanted somebody that they didn't have to worry about the number of hours per day they worked. She was 17, which means she wasn't an adult. And so she was in the process of thinking about going to get emancipated. So she wanted to be separate from her parents. And so that way she could do whatever she wanted. So she spent a couple $1,000, got emancipated, went into the movie. And I think one of the things is she was fully anticipating being in the movie. And then when she went and read the script, I know one of the comments was, what the hell is this? This isn't a Halloween movie. Why is Michael basically, impregnating Jamie and her, having, it's basically incest. I didn't really want to say that, but might as well just go ahead and lay it out there. So she didn't like that. And then they were going to pay her scale, which was like $1,000, which is less than what it cost her to get emancipated. So then turns out that the role wasn't that big anyway. Now, why, if the role wasn't that big and you look at how much Jamie is in the movie, there's no way that they couldn't have filmed that in just a couple days. Why in the world were they so worried about how many hours she was going to work if Jamie's character, the character Jamie, was not even going to be in the movie any more than it was? So I thought that was just like piss poor on their part. Of they were kind of making an excuse, and then in the long run they didn't really want the Jamie character in there anyway, other than the point of having that baby. So I think the aspect of the cult is one of the things that I don't like. I know some people don't mind that. To me, I keep saying it, and I'll say it until I'm in the grave. My Michael Myers doesn't need any motivation. I don't want to know anything that motivated him. He's supposed to be pure evil. He's supposed to be, like they said, no soul, the blackest eyes. I don't need him. It was really, really piss poor watching that scene where he was standing next to the altar and they were basically controlling him. And then also, I'm pretty sure in the producer's cut is where Paul Rudd stands there and puts the runes down on the floor and stops him. That's ridiculous. I mean, there's no reason that would happen that way. So with that being said, I like I said, the way the movie was cut. I like the color palette that's used in the producer's cut. It looks much better. It looks more natural. I don't like that whole first part of the movie in the theatrical cut, it almost looks like it's got a blue shading, blue tint to it. I think that ruins the movie. I also think that, like I said, that electric guitar, I've heard a lot of people say it was cool, and it was, but it doesn't feel like a Halloween movie. And I think that there's certain scenes in the producer's cut that when they show Michael in the mask, that it looks really good. Now, the mask I've got here beside me, it's much better than the piece of shit mask they used for Halloween 5. It's got more detail on the face. It doesn't have the eyebrows. I like my Myers mask without that detail of the eyebrows. And then the hair is shorter. So I don't know what the hell they were thinking in Halloween 5, having that basically wig on there with the hair flapping on it. So the mask is a lot better. And there's some really good shots of Myers in the producer's cut wearing that mask there that look pretty damn close to almost like a callback to the original movie. Like, I think the mask looks good in that. There's some shots in the theatrical cut that have like almost like a blue tint to it, and I just don't like the mask. It almost looks like the plastic's too thick, and the features on it are really pronounced or whatever when they have that blue tint put on it. So I don't really like the color palette they chose for the theatrical cut. I think that the producer's cut looks a lot better. Like I said, it looks more natural. It looks more like a fall movie. So this is one of those where I need to go back, because I think back when I first started on YouTube and I was talking to Drum Dums a lot, he's got a channel on there. You guys should check him out. He's a huge Halloween Michael Myers fan, and he and I were chatting a lot when I was back and forth a little bit, especially on the Facebook group that he helps run. And we were talking about Halloween a lot, and we were talking about Michael Myers, and he was letting me know that the way I'm presenting it reminded me of the way he would talk, that there's good aspects about both and bad aspects about both. And I think he made a blue Myers cut or something like that. He called me, and I've got it saved on my computer. So I do need to go watch that again, because maybe, like I said, unlike Halloween 5, which I think you would have to rip the guts of it out and replace, like, put Rachel back in it, replace Tina with Rachel, have it where Tina gets, I don't mind her getting killed as a side character. I thought that was good. But there was no point in killing Rachel off if you weren't going to save Tina. And then there's no way that Danielle Harris herself should be considered a final girl as young as she was. Now, if she could be 17 years old going into The Curse of Michael Myers, I really do think Danielle Harris would have done a good job, but not with the role the way it was written. That movie was so poorly written. And then, obviously, that the producers of that movie was a damn Weinstein brother. So, there's at least one scene of nudity in it. And I read that the girl wasn't exactly comfortable doing it the way they did it. Well, that's fine. I can almost see that might have been the Weinstein's influence on that. But either way, I don't know. But I do think that the movie has good parts. I like it a lot better. I like it a lot more than Halloween 5, but it's not perfect. Like I said, I do think there's a really good cut of this movie out there that's better, that takes aspects of the theatrical cut and the producer's cut. Like, if you take the opening off of the producer's cut and put it on the theatrical cut, and then you replace the music and put the producer's cut, which used the classic Halloween themes, put that in the theatrical cut, and then keep the theatrical cut ending. Like I said, I don't need Loomis getting the mark of Thorn. I don't need the rune stopping Michael. I think the movie would work better, but as is, I think having to watch both is a chore. And so as of right now, I think if I had to watch it, because of how much I hate the ending, I would probably pick the theatrical cut most of the time. They couldn't bring Donald Pleasance back to do some of the reshoots, so they had to edit around his scenes because he died, shortly after the original production ended. And then when they wanted to recut this damn thing, They, brought some of the cast back. They obviously couldn't bring Donald Pleasance back. So I think that's really piss poor on their part. They wasted an opportunity. To me, they wasted the last good on-screen role of Loomis. I like the Loomis in this movie, even though he's not in it very much, a lot better than Halloween 5. You'll watch my review of Halloween 5, hopefully tomorrow, if I can get the damn thing to upload properly. You'll watch that, and you'll see that there's a couple scenes in there that I detail out that I think Donald Pleasance did a really good job. I like his scenes in The Curse of Michael Myers. I think it plays out well of where he would be in life. It's been like 6 years since Halloween 5, so things have settled down. He's settled into retirement. They explained that he had plastic surgery, so now he's got a beard, and then his face and everything, but he still got his hand. But they explained that, I'm pretty sure, in the producer's cut, with a line saying that he had plastic surgery and he didn't want to scare children anymore or something like that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I said, there's some things in the producer's cut that I really do like. So get rid of that ending and put the theatrical ending on the producer's cut, and then you'd make me very happy. So like I said, I like the original ending in the theatrical cut a lot better. I know a lot of people really like that. Everybody goes around on Facebook groups and they're getting a Thorn tattoo. And I probably, as much as I don't like the Thorn trilogy, it's a cool looking tattoo, and it's not big, but everybody would recognize it. And it's, it's synonymous basically now with Halloween and Michael Myers. But I don't like the Thorn trilogy at all, that aspect of it. Take that shit out of Halloween 5, the Man in Black, and why they show Michael's hand, gripping, and you see the tattoo on it. Take that out, and I really do, and leave Rachel in there, and I really do think that Halloween 5 would have played a lot better. So you'll see my review of that. We talked about it last week. I really think Halloween 5 is a turd that could be polished and made a little better. But I really do think The Curse of Michael Myers, the part 6, is better than 5, but I just hate the producer's cut ending. So I don't know why they wanted to go all on board with the Thorn aspect, because what in the world are you going to do with the way that movie ended? Like, where would you go next if you want to think about it? So Jamie's dead. I guess the baby survived both cuts and went with Paul Rudd, which is Tommy. And shit, I don't even remember. What's the main girl's name? The main character from Curse of Michael Myers. I just watched the damn thing. Can't even remember what her name is. Kara Strode. So, I guess what is going to be, what would have been the end game in the producer's cut with having Loomis with the mark, because he was supposed to be the one protecting over the, the cult. What in the world would he have done with the mark of Thorn? What role would he have served in the cult? And then after that, Michael leaving his mask and getting away in the trench coat with the, Wynn's hat and boots. What the hell? Where were you going to go with this story? Were they assuming that they was going to end? Did they only have a trilogy? I haven't looked back. I don't give a shit about the Weinsteins or Miramax with everything that went on there. But I just don't understand where the movie would have progressed, or where the franchise would have progressed. Were they planning on the reboot of H2O no matter what? Or was it because of how shitty that was? Like I said, the little bits and pieces of the Thorn cult in part 5 were bad enough, especially the ending. That ending is horrible. You caught Michael Myers finally. You leave him in a prison with no SWAT team guarding him or whatever. And I know they showed the hallway with a lot of those dead cops, but there's no way with who that is being a serial killer that they wouldn't have had like mass protection around that building. And there's no way one man would have been able to come in there and blow him out of there, because they didn't show anybody else come in town from the Thorn cult. So it was basically the Man in Black did all that damage himself, and then leading into full-on Thorn cult mode in part 6. I hate that aspect of it. I know there's people that defend the Thorn cult aspect of the Halloween movies. I think it sucks. Like I said, I've always said my problem with even Halloween Ends is that there's going to be somebody else other than Michael in it doing some killing and whatever you want to call it, muddying the waters of the whole Michael Myers legacy. Michael is one of the few horror characters that doesn't have like a true origin that you understand why he's doing what he's doing. We went over that last week, I think. So if you didn't see that, anybody that pops in, I'll go ahead and mention that. Think about it. So Freddy is getting revenge on the parents that caught him on fire and burned him alive, right? So that's one aspect. Leatherface. So he's obviously mentally challenged, whatever you want to call it. He's got a family that is deranged in itself and basically pushes him to do things where he thinks he's doing right by protecting the family. So he's under their influence. So obviously know his motivations. So then you got Jason, who goes full on batshit crazy mode when he sees his mother die. And so it's all about revenge and anybody that comes around the lake or whatever. So, and then obviously, you might could change that when he becomes zombie Jason, but either way. So all these characters, even like Chucky, he's got Charles Lee Ray inside of him. So he's got his own motivation, to be human again. So all those characters have motivations that are explained, origin stories or whatever. Michael's origin story you pick up when he's 6 years old, going into the kitchen with a butcher knife and going and killing his sister. Nobody knows why he did it other than Loomis just saying that he was consumed by evil. Basically he's the devil. Michael, to me, that's the reason that he's the scariest icon, and the reason I like him the most is that he's unexplainable. You don't know what's motivating him. He doesn't talk, so no wisecracks from all the other ones like Freddy and Chucky and all those guys. He doesn't speak. I know Jason doesn't either, but you don't know what's in his head. You don't know what his motivations are. You don't know why he's doing what he's doing. That's the Michael Myers that I like. And so having this cult and having Michael controlled, where he's standing in that room around, I don't even know what the hell you call that, where they're sacrificing her or the baby, where they're preparing to do that. Having him stand there is pretty pathetic, and it really takes the character down a notch. So I hate what they do to his character in the Curse of Michael Myers. Hey, Jeff, man. What's up, Royce? I haven't seen you in a couple of weeks. What's been going on, man? You been doing all right? I'd like to get your opinions on both of those cuts of Halloween Curse of Michael Myers, because I'm editing my review of Halloween 5 Revenge of Michael Myers that comes out tomorrow. But I got to record a review of this, and I've watched both cuts this week, and I want to like the movie. I want to like all the movies with Michael Myers in it, but I just got some major problems with it. And before you got on here, what I was saying is I really like the way that the producer's cut was made. The look, they've got a totally different color grade on it. It looks like fall. It uses a lot of the classical musical cues. The movie is cut totally different as far as the style. It looks better to me. The only thing I don't like about the producer's cut is, even the beginning has got Loomis doing the voiceover, I'm pretty sure, of the Michael Myers explanation of what it kind of like his motivations or whatever. But the ending of it sucks. I hate the end of the producer's cut. That's what ruins it for me. So it's like I wish you could chop off the last 10 minutes of the theatrical cut and put it over top of the producer's cut. And then that's probably the movie that I would like. But I like everything else about the producer's cut. I like the fact that Jamie doesn't initially die. and then he has to kill her. So at least it gives Jamie one more scene. I know she didn't really do anything, but I thought it was a piss poor job of what they did to keep the Jamie character going. I was mentioning earlier that Danielle Harris was, going to try to get the role. And then when she read about it and what they were doing with Michael actually maybe getting her pregnant, and then also the fact that she wasn't an adult, and they kept saying, they got to have an adult that's 18 so they don't have to worry about the hours they work. And then you look at the script and you see Jamie, the character of Jamie, isn't in there hardly any. Why they would need an adult to play that? Because it's not like she's in the movie very much. I just don't understand how you can go into a movie like they did with 5 and they say, well, we're going to throw this Man in Black and this Thorn shit in there, but we don't have a plan moving forward. And I'm not saying that they need to MCU this shit back then where they got to do, oh, here's the next 5 Michael Myers movies. But if you're going to put something in there that's going to be related to his motivation and his origin or whatever, and if you don't want to just throw that in the trash in the next movie, how come there's no like plan, at least by the producers or the Weinsteins at the time, to say this is the direction we want it? And I also don't understand when you start reading the behind the scenes of this movie about how much turmoil it was between the director and the producers and the writers and everything. I don't understand how you even get to the point where you get a movie on the schedule and you can't already have a script that everybody 100% agrees upon, that you're end up rewriting shit at the end. I don't even understand how that's a good business model. And I think that might have been one of the other reasons why this part 5 and 6 were such failures and they wanted to reboot it with H2O, is that there just was no direction. It was a money grab. Part 5 was done exactly a year after part 4. So as soon as part 4 was hitting theaters, they were already producing that. And then they go 6 years. And in 6 years, you can't map out something better than this. It's ridiculous. Hey, Dougie. So what's going on? So I was talking about which cut of the Curse of Michael Myers do you like best? I like everything about the producer's cut other than the end, because I have no clue what the hell they were trying to get done with making Loomis have the mark of Thorn and having him take over from Michael and have Michael drop the mask and then dress up like the Man in Black. Where in the world do you think you're going with that story after that? It makes no sense whatsoever. And so, like I said, I mean, it was just cash grab city for those, for part 5 and 6. I don't think they had a plan, and it was really stupid because you got one of the major characters in a horror franchise that you're the steward of, and you don't know what to do with it. It's just a little bit ridiculous. It almost frustrates me reading all the history and of behind the scenes, how they treated it. Is this the last one Loomis is in? Yes. Part 6 was the one where when they had all that turmoil, they were making it, and then when they were shaking it up, they went back and did a lot of reshoots, and by the time they got to all the reshoots, Donald Pleasance died in real life. So they literally had to reshoot. If you go look at both cuts, there's a scene in I forget which one. The theatrical cut, one of them has got it where when the leader of the Thorn cult is in his actual full garb, the robe and everything, and he's sitting behind the desk and he's talking to Loomis. And somebody in one of the reviews I watched of it in the past joked and said, it doesn't seem like they're in the room sometimes. Well, they're not, because if you look, then the theatrical cut, Wynn has got his suit on and he's behind the desk and he's talking to Pleasance, but when the character of Loomis, but in real life, Donald Pleasance had already died. So when they were reshooting some of that stuff, they were going to piece in Loomis's parts around the new stuff that they shot. So I'm assuming the producer's cut contained the ending that they were originally going with, because the way the theatrical cut ends is, Loomis tells Tommy and I forgot the woman's name again. Tells Tommy that he's got something to take care of, and he goes back inside, and you had Michael's mask laying on the ground, and then you hear in the background, as they're showing outside, Loomis screaming. So you're assuming that Michael was still in there and killed Loomis. All I remember, Loomis dying in the end. Yeah, that's the theatrical cut where Loomis dies at the end. Hello, everyone. Hey, what's going on? Appreciate you coming by. Where I'm looking for people's thoughts on Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. I've got to review that this week, and this is the part 5 and 6 are always been tough for me because there's things I like about them, but there's things that make me really hate the movie. Like, want to go smack the damn producers of it, because what I was getting ready to talk about, what Doug said, he said he remembered Loomis dying. That's the theatrical cut, and Loomis, like I said, goes back into the building after Tommy leaves with the baby. And the mask you had seen laying on the ground, I think, and when Loomis goes back in there, you hear him scream. I love part 6. Which version, the theatrical or the producer's cut? Because I love most things about the movie. I'm just not a big Thorn cult guy. I think the aspect of that, trying to explain what motivates Michael and them controlling him, isn't the Michael Myers character. It's a little bit too different for me. I don't really, but other than that, I mean, it's got some good kills in it. I like, even though he's got the acting is kind of cheesy, Paul Rudd bringing the Tommy character back was really smart. I like that aspect. Having him live across the road from the Strode, the original Michael Myers house that new version of the Strode family's living in, is kind of cool. Having him watch over them. It's got some good stuff in it, but I think if they had tried to save the Jamie character and have her through the whole thing, it might have saved that movie a lot. But like I said, I don't like the ending of the producer's cut, because, Doug, the difference is, I don't know if you watched it, is when Loomis tells him he's going to go back in, he looks at his arm and he actually gets the mark of Thorn on his arm. And then when they show him screaming, and then you see Michael's mask laying down, and then you see Michael has taken the mask off, has put the Man in Black's outfit on, put the boots on, the long trench coat, and he turns, and all you see is in a black shadow, his silhouette as he's going down the hall, and he leaves. Like I said, that's not the Michael Myers that I like. Is the one guy is holding the girl hostage, and Michael is just about to the door, then the lightning strikes, and he's gone. Like what? I don't understand your question. Who's holding the girl hostage? And Michael's about to the door, then the lightning strikes, and he's gone. Like what? I don't remember. That might have been in the theatrical cut. I like the parts of the theatrical and some of the producers. Like I said, yeah, I like the music being the original cues from the Halloween movie in the producer's cut. That's amazing. It makes the movie look better. And I was saying right before I got on here, and I don't think anybody was watching when I mentioned it, the look of the producer's cut is way better. Like, they get rid of that blue tint, and it's a different color grade, and it really makes the movie look like it's fall. And I really like the way it looks. And like I said, I don't like that electric guitar type theme that's in the theatrical cut. So if you took the ending of the theatrical cut and put it on the end of the producer's cut, I think you'd have a really good movie, and maybe expand the role of Jamie a little bit. I think they did her character a little bit of disrespect, the way they treated her. Hey man, just wanted to stop in and say hello. Hope all is well. Yep, Dougie, everything's cool. Hope everything's going okay with you. Haven't talked to you in a while, so I hope things are good. Hit me up on Messenger and let me know how things are going for you, and what you got going on. I appreciate you coming by. You've always been a fan of my channel, so I appreciate you stopping by. So you said you liked the parts of the theatrical and some parts of the producer's cut. Give me some examples. Like, what did you like about each one of them? Because that's what I'm doing right now, is I'm trying to rip it apart a little bit and trying to decide how much praise I want to give either cut of the movie. Like when I go do my my review this coming week, that's going to be a tough one as well, because if you've watched my other reviews, I've tried to do a little funny skit in front of all of them, and I don't even have any idea what the hell to do as a skit in front of this one. This is a tough one. It's got some really heavy themes in it. Obviously, it's implied that Michael impregnated Jamie. They never come out, I don't think, and say that, because that's another reason I wanted to watch the movies this week, is I wanted to go through each one of them and watch. And I don't really think 100% do they ever actually say that that Michael impregnated Jamie, but it is heavily implied. So that's another reason that I really have trouble with that cut of the movie in general, not the cuts. It's in both of them because they don't explain all that. I probably only watched theatrical cuts of the man in black is holding the girl hostage and Michael is crossing the road. Looks like he's almost to the door, then lightning strikes and Michael's gone. Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember that scene, but yeah, that's the theatrical cut with him. I have to go back and watch that and see if I remember that part. I know it might just be that, you were seeing him in shadows, and then when the lightning strikes, then he just happened to drop by, because Michael does that. I don't think he full on transports like they say Jason does in some of his movies, but I do think Michael is good at getting in the light real quick, getting in the shadows, and then when you try to go look for him, he disappears. He did that in Halloween 1, obviously at the bush, and then he did it again outside the clothesline. And then he did it again. I love it. If you've watched the extended cut of Halloween Kills, and I will say this, not to get off topic, whatever, but I watched Halloween Kills recently, and that movie is way better than people give it credit for. I really do think that people shit on it just because of the Evil Dies Tonight stuff. And that stuff, if you buy it on Blu-ray, if you buy it on Blu-ray or DVD or 4K or whatever, all you gotta do is skip a little bit ahead. That movie is really good. I mean, everything they did at the beginning, the first 30 minutes, I don't think they could have done a better job of cutting that movie as far as starting it and then the flashback and then showing them at the bar and then what everybody's been doing. And then in the flashback scene when they show Lonnie, if you watch the extended cut, there's an homage to the original movie where Lonnie's walking down the street and he sees Jason sees Michael on the side, but at this time, like when Laurie, it was on the left side of the street. This time it's on the right side of the street, and Michael's standing behind a bush outside of a house. And then when Lonnie looks up, he's gone, and when he goes around to look for him, he's nowhere to be found. So they cut that out of the theatrical cut, and I don't know why. I thought that was pretty cool. And I mean, it's not even 30 seconds. Why they would cut that out, I don't know. And then they leave all that Evil Dies Tonight crap in there. I do think that the extended cut is the way to go. It's got more gore. I like the ending. But I do think if they're going to do a time jump of 4 years for Halloween Ends, I can understand why they didn't want to put the extended cut ending on there where Laurie gets up out of the hospital, walking down the hall. She's holding the knife, and that she's doing the voiceover, basically, that she's coming after Michael. If it's 4 years later, how would you explain that? Well, she got up to go after Michael. She hunted him and didn't find him, and then went about her business for 4 years. I mean, it just really wouldn't make any sense. It wouldn't be very dramatic the way that they played it out. So I can understand why they cut that out. But man, I've got a lot of people kicking me ideas and scenarios and things that they claim they've seen in the different screenings of Halloween Ends. And if half of what they're telling me is actually the way the movie goes, that movie is going to suck. As far as if you're a true fan of Michael and Laurie and you want this story to wrap up, I'm so fearful that this thing is not going to be the ending that everybody wants after 40 some years. Did you buy the Scream Factory set? Yeah, I bought that back when it came out. So I've had that the whole time that it's been out. I've got the Halloween one and the Friday the 13th. And if you anybody that owns the Friday the 13th watches it, remember there's replacement discs that you need to get because they got some minor stuff cut out of those. I went ahead, if you watched the movie hunt, that I had some computer issues this weekend. That's what I've been fighting. I installed my program on a different computer thinking it might help, and it made it worse. So I was late posting my movie hunt, but in there I actually get the steelbook of the 4K of Child's Play this week too. So there's a lot of good stuff coming out as far as Scream Factory goes. But I'm really excited for Halloween Ends. It's less than 2 months now that we got to wait, but I'm nervous about it. Oh, you talking about the 4K ones? Yeah, I'm sad to say that I broke down and bought it. I did. I have PayPal because I've got a PayPal business account because I sell stuff on eBay, and I did a pay in four is what they call it, to where it didn't seem like I was spending as much. So basically, um, every 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whatever, it takes a fourth of it, instead of me having to pay for the damn thing all at once. I was reading a review on that new 4K set it's got part, H2O, Curse of Michael Myers. At least it does have both cuts, is what the article said. And Resurrection, it said this is by far the best that the worst movies of the series are going to look. So they were literally making fun of the fact that the movies included in the set are the worst movies of the entire franchise, but they'll look good. But you do get the theatrical and the producer's cut in 4K in that set. So if you want to think about it, you do get, I guess, 4 movies instead of 3 for that price. It is a little pricey. And I'm not even worried about. I don't think I got whatever the cheapest set they had on there is the one I got. Yeah, I'm waiting for them to go even more down. I don't know, justifying 104 for 3 movies. Yeah. Hey, like I said though, it's 4 movies. You get both cuts of it on there. The disc that I'm going to give away on Blu-ray once we hit 1,500 subscribers has only got the theatrical cut on it. It doesn't have the producer's cut. And I know that one individual disc of the producer's cut is pretty pricey on eBay and stuff. So it must be pretty hard to get. So if you don't have the producer's cut, this new set, are they selling them individual? I don't remember. They will. If they don't, they'll eventually sell them individually. It's kind of like the Child's Play movies. Most people probably don't give a shit about those after the first 3, so I don't mind them releasing those in 4K. There is no way I would pay anything extra to get like Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, Cult of Chucky in 4K. Nobody wants that. It's kind of like this. H2O would be really good. That movie's very underrated. I think when I get around to watching that again, I'll probably enjoy that. I think my only problem with H2O is that I'm not a fan of the mask. It didn't fit well on the guy's face. It was too tight. Speaking of that, when you watch if you watch my review of Halloween 5, when it drops, I'll just say that mask is one of the tightest masks. Maybe I just got a big fat head. That mask is one of the tightest masks. I could barely get it on and off. So I will not be wearing that one again. That'll stay on my little display shelf. Yeah. So the mask, this one here, I've already tried it on. This is a much better mask. It's more proportionate to the mask that was used in the first couple movies. The masks used in part 4 and 5 are really small. The one for Halloween 2018 is kind of small too, but not as bad as that one for Halloween 5 that I was wearing in my little skit. I want Bride of Chucky and Curse and You do? You like those movies? They're okay. I mean, I'll watch them because they got Chucky, but I don't care what quality it is. I'll probably be watching those things and have it. What about Seed of Chucky? I'll watch those and have them on the side where I don't really might not be paying attention to them. It's almost the only reason that I really want the Halloween ones is I want all of them in 4K because I'm such a fan of the series, and I know Shout Factory does a lot with their special features, and they got a lot of good stuff on there. But I don't know that I need to see any special features of Child's Play. With that being said, I watched the first one again, and I didn't even realize the tone of the first Child's Play movie is so much different than the rest of them. There's only 1 or 2 spots in there where he even cracks a joke whatsoever. So it's more of a straight on horror movie. That first movie is like really good. I don't think people that just because it's about a killer doll that don't give that thing the credit that it deserves needs to go back and watch it because that first movie is like really good. It's kind of funny. It's got Brad Dourif in it, and he obviously stars in the Rob Zombie Halloween movies. But all right, I digress. So we can go back As far as Curse of Michael Myers, what does everybody think of Paul Rudd in there as Tommy? Did you think he did a better or worse job than Anthony Michael Hall did in the new movie? There's parts of the movie that I think Paul Rudd was okay in, but you obviously see in the theatrical cut he was embarrassed about it because he filmed it, and because of all the back and forth and all the different cuts and the trouble with him making the movie, his actual feature film debut was in Clueless, and it ended up coming. He filmed Clueless after his parts of Curse of Michael Myers, and it came out. Clueless came out first. So when Curse of Michael Myers came out, he actually told him that he didn't really want to be associated with it. So he put his full name in there. He Rudd way better than Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, I agree. And she says, I agree, Peter. I said earlier, for anybody that wasn't on here, I really like Rudd's portrayal. And I think, he would be messed up in the head if that happened to him. And he basically had been to the point where his whole life he had spent traumatized by that. But there's a few scenes in it where I don't understand what they're doing. Like one of them's in the hallway at the end when he's trying to open the door to get Kara out, and he's beating it with the fire extinguisher. And then you see Michael come out of the Michael's base like, hey, what's going on? What's that noise? And he looks down the hall and comes walking towards him. He does this weird, quirky looking thing with his face a couple times in the movie where I don't know what he's supposed to be doing, but I think he does a really good job. Though, and I love in the cut to where he basically beats the shit out of Michael in that lab. I really liked that, how aggressive his character was in that. I think that Anthony Michael Hall's version of Tommy would have been a lot better if it had better writing and it had a better script. I think he's a pretty good actor. He probably, was a very underrated actor. I've liked some of the stuff he's been in over the years. But I think his part was cringeworthy as far as the way they portrayed it. Like the character of Lindsay had a much better role. And I watched my Halloween Ends video that I just posted about who's going to be wasted, because I really do think Halloween Ends, to me, if you're going to be ending the franchise or this part of the franchise, really should have been ending the story arcs of the original characters. So you have Lindsay left over. And I know Hawkins wasn't in the original movies, but his character was in the flashbacks of the original movie. So he's left over. You got Laurie, you now got Allison. This should have been about clearing up all the storylines about that, and to have all this the waters muddied with this storyline with this Corey character. I really do think Lindsay's one of the ones that's going to suffer. I heard she's not in the movie very much, so maybe they should have had her in one of these movies like they did Tommy. Now there's 3 Tommy Doyles like there's 3 Tommy Jarvises. Yeah, that's kind of funny. I didn't think about that. I don't know why they can't keep screwing up one of the characters. Laurie, Tommy, and Hawkins were all basically throwaway characters and kills. Yeah, I know. They basically had Hawkins and Laurie laying in the bed through 3/4 of the movie in the hospital. That's why I said, if that was your plan with Laurie and she was basically her character and was going to be thrown away, they really do need to do something important with their characters in Halloween Ends. But from what I read, I don't think they do. I mean, there's going to be a lot in the movie that Laurie isn't even there. Keep up the good content, my friend. Hey, I really appreciate it, Peter. Thanks, man. I'll always support you too, brother. You know I will. I appreciate you stopping by. You and I should, once I do this review series and I finish it, if you got some free time, you and I should maybe do a live stream where I get you on there and we just walk through the movies real quick, and you can let me know your gut feelings about all of them. Because I got to do a ranking video anyway, and that's going to be really difficult because obviously the earlier movies are good, but some of these movies in the middle in this Halloween franchise they're really hard to rank because they're none of them are great, but they have good aspects to them. So I appreciate you, man. Let's do it. That'd be an honor. We'd love to be on. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, be reviewing. We're talking about part 6 because I got to review that one next. So before you head out, do you like the theatrical cut or the producer's cut better? A couple people have chimed in. You know, most a couple of the comments have been the same as me, as they like aspects of both. Bottom 2 is Rob Zombie 2 and Resurrection. That's where I am right now. I would say I'm watching some of these fresh. I haven't sat down and watched the whole movie uninterrupted for some of them for a couple years. I've watched bits and pieces of them. So giving them a fresh watch, I will say it gave me a fresh perspective on Halloween 4 of how much better that movie was than I remembered. I think 5 though is the opposite. It made me think that movie was worse than it ever was. Producer's cut much better. What about the ending? Does it bother you, the ending where Loomis gets the mark, the mark of Thorn, and Michael gets away dressed as the Man in Black? Because that's the only part that bothers me. Where do you go with the story? The aspect of the story from either one of those. Loomis getting the mark of Thorn, even if Donald Pleasance had lived, where are you going with that story in the next movie? And then Michael getting away and leaving his mask and basically dressed as the Man in Black. Where are you going with that story? Was this going to end this story arc and they were going to start something fresh? Because like I said, that's why I like the end of the theatrical cut. Because Donald Pleasance died shortly while they were cutting this thing up and refilming some of it. And then his character actually dies at the end of the theatrical cut by the hand of Michael. At least that's the way I take it. Because, they show from the outside and you hear Loomis screaming inside. And so once that happens, it's Michael that did it. And so then Michael continues on in the way he is. It's better. The ending only because it at least is a complete thought. The theatrical was so choppy and glued together. Yeah, it's a real shame that the damn Miramax and Weinstein's got a hold of this damn thing and tried to rush a lot of this stuff through, especially this movie. After they got it, it's like they had no clear concept of where to go with their trilogy. Even though it's weird, people always associate Halloween 5 as part of the Thorn trilogy, which it is. But Halloween 5 was made by a different company, and they just shoehorned that Thorn tattoo and the Man in Black in there as a way to end the movie. I was telling earlier, they had no plan on what they were going to do with that character or Michael in the next movie. And then that's why it took 6 years. Another company got it. They made Curse. It was such a disaster. As you said, it was like choppy and glued together. It took so many years for us to finally see that producer's cut. H2O was much better, obviously. And then after that, Resurrection. I don't even know what I'm assuming that's going to be at the bottom of my list. But at this point, like I said, 5 dropped like a lead balloon for me after watching it, because I got like an emotional high after watching Halloween 4 after a while. They did something different at the end. You got the character of Jamie. You think Michael could be dead, maybe. You still got Rachel as a character, and she was a really good final girl. Almost could take over the mantle of Jamie Lee Curtis. And then there are so many avenues they could have went after Halloween 4, and then they just come in and wipe it all away with Halloween 5. They're like, oh, we got to get another movie out in a year. We got to rush it through, and then threw all that mess together. And then with the mask being one of the worst things I've ever seen. So I don't know how you could be, like I said, I don't know if you heard my comment. I like the way I said it. How you could be a steward of such a great character. I mean, look at you, Peter, if you're still on here. You are a fan of Friday the 13th so much that you make a fan film and all you want to do is pay respect to the characters that another creator, director, and everybody put on film. How can you own a horror franchise as popular and as storied as Halloween, and you make these movies like Halloween 5 and then this mess of Curse, Michael Myers, and then go, like I said, you redeem yourself a little bit with H2O until the end, and then the way you have to reboot that in Resurrection. How do you do that to a franchise like that. H2O is a conundrum for me. Half the time I watch it, it seems boring and slow. The other times I like it. It's middle grade. I like it just because it cleanses the palate after watching the last couple. And then it basically washes away a lot of the stuff that I didn't like. But I do wish that maybe they had written it with Jamie in it instead of giving her a son. I agree. Studios don't care. They only want money. Plus, too many cooks in the kitchen. Exactly. I mean, I just know as I'm a manager of a business, and if I went to the owner and basically he gave me a major project and I didn't come up with a plan and then meet with everybody and we all buy into it and make the changes in advance, how do you go into filming a movie and then you present it to the producers or like at the case Miramax, and then they hate it so bad that they stop everything, reboot it, and go back in and do so many reshoots to basically make a totally different movie with different tone, different look. The color grades are different. The music is different. How does that even happen? Somebody should definitely gotten fired after all that. So yeah, it was basically a money grab. Michael Myers is such a historic character in the horror movies that just having him, somebody trying to explain it and put a wrapper around him, I think just does the character such a disservice. That's the one thing so far that I've liked about David Gordon Green's 2 movies is Michael is back to randomness, evil, not knowing what he's going to do, walk past one person, kill them, walk past another and not come after one character. You think he's coming after Jamie, or Laurie, but he's not. Somebody try to control him, and what does he do? Their whole head ends up getting stomped in. He wouldn't let anybody control him. He's only consumed by whatever evil's inside of him. Peter, if you're still on, give me your thought on this. Do you think Michael is supernatural, or is he just so consumed by evil that he doesn't even think like his body is the only thing that's like human left in it, that he's so consumed he doesn't think anything like a human, do you think he's supernatural? Because I got one of the guys that always hops on when I post a video about Halloween, and he loves saying that, nobody will come out now and 100% say whether he's supernatural or not, but how could he get that much damage and live without being supernatural? You see the other 4 Universal monsters are coming to 4K. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know that I own any of the Universal monster movies in 4K. I always tell you before I buy anything that's older, catalog title wise in 4K, I always read reviews of it because I bought some and wasted so much money on them. He was not before, but after kills, he's definitely now. The shots and knife to the head and gets up. Plus when that happened, Laurie narrated and said he's getting stronger. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I don't know. This movie I've heard so much about. It's one of the first movies in a long time that I've actually went online and tried to find some spoilers, because this is one, it's obviously going to end this trilogy. Halloween ends. It'll be more. There will be more Halloween movies. There will. I'm so worried. This is going to sound weird about how they're going to handle Michael. Fans of the franchise, you root for Michael. You do. You root for Jason to kill people in the Friday the 13th movies, or like in that Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. I didn't like any of the characters in it. I was rooting for everybody to die. In Halloween 5, other than Rachel, I was rooting for everybody to die, other than Jamie. Curse of Michael Myers, there isn't a lot of likable characters in there. Like her father is such a abusive father. I was just, even back in the day when I saw it, I couldn't wait for Michael to get his hands around that guy and fucking kill him. I just couldn't stand him. I would like to see Michael versus Jason. Yeah. That would be pretty cool. I think they did some of that stuff in the comics. I did not like the new trailer how Laurie at 70 years old can physically fight Michael off. All right, well, you got to remember he's 70 as well, or 65. And he's got one of his hands is missing fingers. He, from the looks of that hand in the trailer, it's black. I mean, he's probably got some something physical, like his human form is dying, I think. And that's the reason that he's at a weakened state as far as her being able to, I don't know that she overpowers him, but she's able to get away. Plus, I always thought that Lori is like good and he's like evil. And so you literally have the two of them. She's powered by her vengeance of what he's done to her, and he's powered by pure evil. So it's almost like good versus evil. But he picked up the fireman in there like nothing. I know, but that was like after, like you said, though, he's been stabbed in the back with a pitchfork. He had a knife plunged into the back of his neck. He got shot at point blank range multiple times. I think he got shot in the face. Then he got his fingers blowed off. So I don't know. I also was talking to somebody of like, Michael's one of those characters where there's so many different elements to him that you can talk about, which is like, and look, think about it. I mean, it's been over 40 years and we're here talking about the character. I love him to the point to where does he get his power, or does it matter? I do like the fact, though, that it seems like he isn't quite as, I don't know if strong's not a good word. It's like he gets more powerful when he puts the mask on. But I don't want to go as far to say that he gets power from the mask. Because think about it. Even in Rob Zombie's Halloween, he didn't want to be without his mask. And when he did, he had his hair over his face. He didn't want anybody to recognize him. He didn't speak in that one either. But when he put that mask on, it's almost like, Superman putting on his Superman outfit. I don't know that he 100% draws power from the mask, but I do think putting it on takes him to another level. It's almost like, you're not going to see me in my human form type of thing when he puts the mask on. So if you think about that, like she hit him in the back, and before he could recover, she pulled his mask off. And then, so what's the first thing he did before he started fighting him? He picked it up and put his mask on. When he was a kid, the first thing he did was reach down and pick up and put the mask on. When he escaped from Smith's Grove in the first movie, what's the first thing he did? He went to a hardware store and found a mask and put it on. It's like he wants to cover up his human face all the time. And I don't know, like I said, what do you think of that? Does he draw power from his mask? It's where you try to explain why something it loses its charm. Yeah, like I said, I mean, Michael Myers doesn't need to be explained. That's what makes the character so good. That's why he's lasted 40 years. That's why I think that so many people were turned off by 5 and 6, whether people like the Thorn cult or not. And it is cool to get that tattoo. Like I said, the Thorn cult explaining Michael standing there by that altar and then being controlled by runes or whatever is garbage. There's no way you can exchange. You explain Michael Myers. Yeah, valid point. I appreciate that. It seemed that way for sure in Kills. When he picked up his mask, he got stronger. Yeah, it's like I don't want to go full on though, because if you start saying he draws the power from the mask, and if I do that in a video or online, the next thing all I hear is, "Oh, what is it? Like the Silver Shamrock mask?" And I'm like, no, I just think he himself. Think about it. They captured him. They took his mask off, and he literally would have been happy sitting in Smith's Grove for 40 years. And so he didn't even try to escape. 100%. I still believe that the doctor staged the escape, and probably freed Michael on the bus, just like he did, put him in the police car. That doctor was the one who was staging that whole setup that happened. He was even taking him to, Laurie's house. Michael didn't give a shit about Laurie. To me, that's the Michael that I like. Everything's random to him. And so I guess you could say the same thing, Jay. Do you think about that, Peter, when you're talking about Jason? Up until part 3 and 4, he was more about vengeance of the people in that area who he blamed for his mother's death. But when he became the zombie, it's almost like it was just random. Some people he would kill, some people he wouldn't. Do you ever think that Laurie set him free? You talking about in their 2018? She's sitting there drinking, and it's almost like she did tell the police officers and the doctor and Hawkins, I dreamed for this day that he would escape. And then he was like, why in the hell would you do that? And she's like, so I can kill him. I don't know. Maybe she put some spikes around the road or something and made the bus tip over. I still think the doctor's the one did it, though. I think the doctor set him free. We set him free on the bus, and then Michael had a rampage and killed, the guards and stuff. She was waiting with the gun when he's been transferred. Yeah, I know. But I don't know that she did that. I still think that the doctor did it. It would be cool, though, if Lori had done it. But I don't know. Like I was telling you, I feel bad that I've heard so many different spoilers, but there's 3 screenings of Halloween Ends, and all 3 of them are totally different tone, totally different plots, totally different endings. And so obviously I should have waited, but this movie has got me so worried that I wanted to I didn't want to be disappointed sitting in the theater. Like I said, I love Halloween 2018. And if you watch Kills at home and you take out that section where they go to the hospital and all that, Evil Dies Tonight, that movie is really good. If they had just written Tommy a different way, I don't know what you could have done with it. Put Tommy in the Lonnie role, where Tommy's the one going into the house with them. That movie would have been so much better. Like, get rid of that Evil Dies Tonight shit. But you could have had some of those hospital scenes where it got locked down and they were worried he was coming. And I just thought it was weird. Everything that basically happened in the hospital, other than when Lori got the news from Hawkins that Michael wasn't coming after her. Dr. Sartain caused the crash. I think it would have been better if Lori did. Yeah, I agree. But either way, somebody letting him loose, think about that. So I was also telling somebody that. So Michael kills his sister and then literally walks out and stands in the yard and doesn't try to get away. And then they show him do the exact same thing when he went home and killed, had his rampage after 78. And then they caught him in the front yard and then he just stood there. He was perfectly happy getting caught at 6 years old and then breaking out in the 78 movie. And I've always wondered what motivated him to break out and come back home. Like, what triggered him inside of Smith's Grove to want to leave? Because bullshit, whatever they say, he didn't know that was his sister, that Lori was his sister, especially in the first movie. So what was his motivation? What did Carpenter think was his motivation to make him want to break out at that moment and leave? That's what I've always wondered. They took away the penguin scene in the hospital. Penguin scene. I didn't think about that. He does look like the penguin from Batman Returns. Evil Dies and Tommy is Almost Perfect, plus the stupid love story of Hawkins and Lori. Well, I don't 100% think it's so stupid. I get, to me, it was a good way of explaining Hawkins. I guess unless you're gonna have Ben Tramer in there, it humanizes her a little bit. She needed something to show that. Penguin scene. Yeah, that is funny. I didn't think about that, man. He's all Danny DeVito up in that movie. That when I review that, with your permission, I'm going to use that. I want to say we were talking about it. Yeah, with your permission, when I do the review of when I get to Halloween Kills, I'm going to use that because I didn't think about that. Man, I'm sad I didn't think of that. That's pretty damn funny. But so. I'm assuming, Peter, have you heard about this whole Corey shenanigans they got going on in Halloween Ends? Permission granted. Yeah, thanks. Well, I'll mention you, but I'll put it in the video. Yeah, that they should have left that out. But yeah, that just goes to show you that the writers of these things, they think they know so much, and then when it becomes time, the shit hits the fan. How bad some of that stuff can be. Yeah, I just hope Ben Tramer shows up in Ends. Yeah, that would be kind of cool. Now, I haven't read anything about it, though. No, explain the Corey thing. All right, well, I will warn you. I'm not going to explain everything I know because, obviously, here's what I do. There's a lot of YouTubers out there that I've been watching that they hear one little bit and they go out and record a video. I could have done that 50 times. I could have recorded 50 videos by now of things I've heard on Ends. Number one, I don't have time to do that. Number two, I don't, unless I've heard it from multiple people and reliable, I don't want to report it. But the one thing up until now that I've heard from everybody that's seen the screens and everybody is I already knew there was a character named Corey, and his name's Corey Cunningham. He's on Internet Movie Database, and David Gordon Green has already come out and said that it's going to be a character that some of the original, fans of the series may not like. And I think I've taken that as, and he's going to take up a lot of screen time. Well, I have confirmed that he's involved. I'm not going to go into the details because I don't want to spoil it, that part, but he's involved in the death of a child at the beginning of the movie. And that happens right after the events of Halloween Kills. And then the movie's going to be 3 or 4 years later, the rest of the movie. And it's going to be him dealing with being bullied, the trauma of being blamed for something that happened, that it wasn't his fault. It was an accident. There's rumors that he was going to have maybe a relationship with Allison, but that everybody is tagging him as being a copycat killer. Now that means either he's going to find Michael and take over, or he potentially is going to do something to some people in disguise as Michael, blaming, that way Michael can get blamed for it. And then the real Michael, whatever, it will show up. Now I know some details about how Michael may show up. I don't know for a fact, so I'm not going to spoil that. And I don't want to go out there and be, be one of those guys that just reports everything that they read as fact. I know it's not. But this movie has got so many different cuts. They said the first 2 screenings they did on opposite sides of the country, one of them got, they said a standing ovation, but somebody that I know that was there said that that's very exaggerated. I mean, I don't know them personally. I know them online. Number 2, they said the other one got very poor feedback, saying that it was terrible and that they didn't like it. I don't like this Corey fuck already. Yeah, that's basically one of my viewers who is a Halloween fanatic. Basically every day wants to know, have I heard anything else about Corey? But to me, you've already ruined Halloween Ends just from introducing that character this late. And then somebody on one of my videos said, well, you haven't seen it yet, so you don't know he's going to ruin it. But I do. As a true, Halloween is my favorite movie after Jaws. So I've watched that movie more than any other movie. And I love the fact that they wanted to go back and retcon everything else. I thought that was a good idea. And they did such a good job in Halloween 2018 that to have wasted Laurie in the last movie, to waste Hawkins, pretty much waste, Lindsay, you don't know what happened to her. To have all of that, you're setting the stage for this epic battle between Michael and Laurie. You could have it to where, she thinks he's dead. Weird stuff's happening. Is it Michael? Is it not? But to introduce a character this important, that it takes up this much story into a movie franchise that of a story arc that's taken over 40 years to come to this point and not make Laurie, Allison, after everything that's happened. Think about it. Allison lost her mother, and they pretty much confirmed that Karen's dead. So lost her mother, lost her father, lost her boyfriend, lost her best friend, the girl, and then lost one of her male friends. And then Laurie got injured. Everybody that Allison cares for got killed by this guy. Yeah, I don't like the idea of this Corey character either. Yeah, all of that happens. And then you're going to introduce this character at the beginning of the next movie and have it to where he can throw some shade out there thinking that Michael is back or not. If you weren't going to do that, why did you do so much damage to Michael that he couldn't be a main player at the beginning of this movie? And you got to advance the story 4 years into the future so that Michael is healed enough to where he can come back. That's lazy writing to me. And Peter, you've written that fan films or whatever. I think me and you could have sat down after Halloween Kills and written a script that was 10 times better than the little bits and pieces that I've heard, because watch my trailer reaction video. I can basically what I've heard online and what I see in that trailer, that's not Michael at the beginning of the trailer. I mean, it's Corey dressed up in the Michael Myers mask. I say Hawkins dies by Michael's hands and ends. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. Helps build the rage and final battle with Laurie. Yeah, like I said, Laurie and Allison have the ultimate motivations in this. Everybody that's close to them other than each other has been killed at the hands of this guy. Ironically enough, Michael's not coming after Laurie, but everybody's been put in that they love has been put in the path of this guy, and he's mowed them down. Both of them have revenge, if nothing else, as a motivation of why they want to, end Michael. To throw this new character out in there, to me, is disrespectful to the fans of the franchise. I mean, you shouldn't water this thing down. It should be good versus evil, Laurie and Allison versus Michael, and then have it to where maybe Hawkins has to do something, like you said, either die. But what about Lindsay? She was in the hospital in Halloween Kills, and from what I read, they're not doing anything hardly with her character. There's no arc at all for her in there. Maybe do they have something planned for the future? Because I don't know. I just think that you had the perfect opportunity to put a bow on this. There's only one or two things that needs to happen. Laurie needs to die for sure, or Michael needs to die for sure. I think he would be pulling off the movie of the century if they actually let him kill Michael off as a character, because obviously we've all heard that Michael's not supposed to die. I don't know if they put that in this contract. The original steward of the franchise, the Akkad, the father's dead, and now the son is running things, knowing that you could go off on other versions of this timeline, or you could have somebody else dress up like Michael, or you could just reboot the damn thing like they did, with this one. I think they may give him permission, but one or the other of them needs to die for sure in this, and you don't need some third character watering it down, because think about it. Either that character is going to got to also live or die. So if he's introduced in this franchise at the beginning of Halloween Ends, so the third movie he's introduced, let's say one scenario, he lives. So if he's already been, like I said, he's going to be a copycat to Michael, at least at some level. So then if he lives, that means he gets away. What is he going to become? The new boogeyman? Number two, if he dies, then what did you introduce him for to begin with? It was just because you didn't have enough material to fill up an hour and 50-minute script. I think it's supposed to be an hour and 52 minutes is what they say. I just don't think I defended these guys, because everybody pissed on them when they first, especially Danny McBride being a comedian, coming into this franchise, right, as a comedy writer. But I had mad respect for him because I watched interviews and saw Peter. He's kind of like you're a big fan of Friday 13. They were big fans of Halloween, so I figured they would do some justice to this thing, and actually, hey, fans writing it to do this. I think I've written the skeleton of another video I'm getting ready to drop, because David Gordon Green gave the script to Halloween Ends to John Carpenter and told him, let me know if it's a little bit too much like Christine. And I think I've kind of pieced together what he means by that. I'm going to do a video this week, I think, where I'm going to explain why David Gordon Green thinks that Halloween Ends is like Christine, because if you incorporate this Corey character in there, you can kind of see. And then ironically enough, he's named Corey Cunningham, which is Arnie Cunningham is in Christine. I think it would be poetic if they both die. No one wins. Fans would be happy and love it. Perfect bow. Yeah, I agree with that. From what I heard, there's been so much footage recorded that they've switched it up in all the screenings of which one of them lives and which one of them dies. I guess to me, that's worrisome also, because I've never heard of a movie. I've never heard of a movie at this level or this far in a franchise getting 3 screenings within like a 2-month period of time, this close to the movie coming out, and then only releasing one trailer and then not have released another one. I mean, I don't know when they're going to release it. I'm seriously wondering whether they've got second thoughts about some of the kind of like what we've been talking about, the curse of Michael Myers. Some of the way the movie was produced and cut, they just got so much footage now they can do it either way, and they're almost like fan service. They want to go out there and get the fans' approval, because they said that literally the last screening, the fans going into the first 2 didn't know what movie they were going to go see. They just knew it was a horror movie, and it was actually Halloween Ends. I think Cave Dweller is what they were calling it on the production side. But the last screening, the third one, though after they made some changes after the first two screenings, they literally knew they were going to see Halloween Ends, and this was fans, and they said that it was received a lot better. I even heard that one of them had something to do with trying to explain Michael's power coming from that stupid tower that people saw in like one scene in the movie and then like blew it out of proportion, that maybe that was given him his power. That would be stupid as hell too. I don't want Michael explained. I don't want anybody explaining that he got his power from this tower, or that he's the cult or any of that stuff. I don't want to know why he's doing it. That's what makes the character iconic. That's why we love it. That's why you can keep this character going forever, because you once you think you've learned something about him, you've figured out you don't know anything about him, or why he's doing it. It's just I just love the randomness of it. That's the word I always use, the randomness of him. It's kind of like Jason. Like I said, once he became a zombie, everything was random about him. Like, why does he just keep killing? Because that's what he was doing when he died, and he doesn't know any better now. I don't think he knows. I don't think, like I said, I think Michael is going to stumble onto Lori in this movie by accident. I don't think he's going to have been stalking her. And I think that might, you learned that from the last movie, that he isn't coming after her. It's kind of like in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that remake on Netflix, how she gets pissed because Sally's like, you don't remember me? And he's like, shrugs, like he doesn't remember anything about her. He didn't care. Like, Michael doesn't care anything about Lori. I'm out, my friend. Contact me about the walkthrough. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we'll do that in a couple weeks once I knock out some of these reviews. I appreciate you stopping by and staying for so long. You're the man. Thanks, buddy. If anybody doesn't know Peter, there's some videos on my channel promoting some of his stuff. He was involved in the production of multiple fan films about Friday the 13th. One, Roseblood, which ends up being a fan sequel to my favorite Friday the 13th, or one of my favorite Friday the 13th movies, Part 7, A New Blood. So yeah, he's pretty heavy into all these horror movies and like some of the story franchises from the 80s. So I know he loves talking about Friday the 13th and Halloween just like I do. So I really appreciate you guys popping on here. Saw a couple new faces pop up on the feed. Spread the word. I'm going to be talking more Halloween over the next 2 months until that movie comes out. And then if that movie's as bad as I think it is, we're going to be talking Halloween Ends until we're blue in the face, until we get another Halloween movie. What did you think of the Wednesday trailer? And she says, bye, Peter. Yeah, the Wednesday trailer, I actually kind of liked it. I know a lot of people were not a fan of the actor they picked as what's his name? I forget the actor's name. Let me look it up real quick. Luis Guzman. They weren't happy about him being cast as Gomez. I forgot his name. I've seen him in so much stuff. He's in a movie that I like called Waiting. He plays one of the cooks in the back. But I mean, if you go by the original cartoon, comic strip, whatever you want to call it, of the Addams Family, I mean, I think he looks the part. Catherine Zeta-Jones, I think, is cast well, and I think it looks good. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a dark comedy, which is what it's supposed to be. It's got a good vibe to it. I like the fact that she's being, I guess, going to school, going away, and it's going to explain why the family members aren't always in and always around her. It's going to focus more on her. I like that aspect of it. I liked in the when she dropped the piranha in the pool. I don't know if you noticed the one thing, they did not show you who's going to be Uncle Fester, and they said you won't know who's going to be Uncle Fester. You're not going to show him or announce anything until the show actually airs. So I thought that was cool, and so I'm wondering who they're going to pick. You obviously can't, go back and get anybody that's played him before. So that'd be very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Man, I watched a lot of stuff on Shudder this week before we go. There's a movie I got a review called Glorious that's on there. If you guys have Shudder, you need to check that out. They've dropped a bunch of new stuff on there in the last couple weeks, and they've given me like 4 screeners they want me to watch in the next couple weeks that I got to drop reviews on. So I'll be doing a lot of stuff about that, but that's a good service. I think I get it through Amazon Prime, and it's only like $5 a month. If you can get that channel pretty cheap, it's definitely worth the $5 a month. Just the months that Joe Bob does Joe Bob's Drive-In Theater on Friday nights and shows the 2 movies that he introduces and talks about, that it's definitely worth the price of admission just for that alone. So I definitely recommend that. I've been waiting for Netflix to drop something that was good, so hopefully that Wednesday series will be good. And like I said, and now I got to go watch this week. I'll be watching Halloween H2O, and I want to make sure I didn't miss any of your comments. Hey, you say you love H2O. That's the next movie we're going to be talking about. So next Sunday, it looked like people started coming in after I've been on a while, so I might push back and start doing the live stream at 9. Maybe we'll get more people in. So next week we're going to be talking Halloween H2O 20 years later. So I'll probably start at around 9 next week, and we'll try to go for an hour and a half. So it seems to work better when we do that. So yeah, be prepared to talk about Halloween H2O. I'm interested to see Lurch. I'm wondering, will Uncle Fester, Grandma, or it? Yeah, Lurch not speaking as much. I guess they're being tight-lipped about who playing Uncle Fester because he'll have a speaking role in it. I know Lurch does speak, but it's very few words. But I haven't watched Halloween H2O in a couple years. Be in it, yeah. So I'll be interested to watch that. I think I liked it. I remember the little homages they did to Psycho, having her mother in it and the music in the car. So I like that. I know the one thing I didn't like about it as much when I watched it last time was Michael being able to see his eyes as much as you did. At least in these, the mask that you buy from Trick or Treat Studios actually has some black screening in there on the Part 4 mask. I think on the Part 4 and 5. This one doesn't. So you be able to see my eyes in there. So like I said, whenever I figure out what skit I'm going to do, you'll be able to see my eyes in it. All right, well, House of the Dragon started tonight at 9. What is that on? Is that HBO? I watched H2O last week. That's cool. So I'll be watching that this week one night to refresh my mind on that. And I've always pretty much liked that. There's obviously that one scene where they CGI the mask. I'm like everybody else. I didn't even pay attention to that until somebody pointed it out. Now every time I see it, I realize that. So there's literally 3 different masks in that movie. So I'll probably mention that during my review. But since I got to prepare for that, like I said, come on and let's talk Halloween H2O next week, because we're talking about the curse of Michael Myers this week. That's the video I got to record. So like I said, I'm trying to do my live streams about a week ahead, and that way I get some ideas from you guys too, can help me get my brain motivated and wrapped around doing the review. I never watched Joe Bob, didn't hear about him until Fright Rag started doing things with him. Dude, I've been watching Joe Bob for 40 years. He was on the movie channel introducing horror movies, and then he got canceled off of there, and 10, 15 years later went to TNT Monster Vision, then got canceled off of there, and then came to Shudder. So I've been watching him all these years. Yeah, HBO. I'll just tell you this, and like I said, I don't mean to piss you off. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan. It started off good to me, and then I dropped out of that pretty quick after it was on. I just don't really like that medieval type of stuff. I don't know why. Me either, Doug. But he's been around for years. Yeah, I mean, you guys, he's funny and he knows his stuff. He is a horror movie fanatic, and he used to review movies in the newspaper back in the day. And he tours some with his show now. I would love to go see him. He was in North Carolina. I hadn't been that long ago, but I think it was when I was on my work trip or right after it, and so I couldn't go. But that's so close to me. I would have loved to have gone. But Yeah, don't hate on me. I'm not a big fan of Game of Thrones. There's enough stuff I got to watch as it is. I don't need to add anything else. I was trying to remember. It was a movie I watched. Oh, if you guys watched Orphan First Kill, that was another movie that I watched this week. I liked the first Orphan, and so I was worried about this one because I was like, you already know the twist, and if you don't, I'm not going to spoil it for you. But you already know the twist. What are they going to do? And then they throw in another twist that even me, after all these years and all these movies I watched, I did not see it coming, and it actually made the last half of the movie like very interesting because of the twist. Do you go by Tiff for short? Yeah, I love your name. So hopefully you'll drop by some more of our any of these new people that have shown up. Spread the word. Tell some people, we like to talk movies. It ends up, if you notice, and I like this. I love the way it goes. We always start with the topic, and I usually get about a good 30 minutes in of talking about the main topic, and then we just free for all this shit. Like once people start talking. PR movie elite. Hi everyone. Yay, what's going on? I like your Myers mask in there. It's like a kills mask. So we were just talking about Halloween kills and ends. Yes, Tiff. Yeah, okay. Well, I appreciate you stopping by, Tiff. I like your feedback, and I'm glad that you a fan of H2O. Maybe you can bring some new thoughts to that I haven't thought of in a while. So I'll watch it this week. Like I said, come back next Sunday night. I'm going to start at 9, and come on by and we can talk about it. Elvira was the jam. Yeah, Elvira, when I was young, I watched Elvira and Joe Bob were the main two horror hosts that I watched the most. Hey, I'm a poet and didn't know it. Oh, as the great Dice would say. So unless you guys got anything else you want to bring up, you dropping in at the end here. Any thoughts on Halloween Curse of Michael Myers? You want to drop on me any nuggets? Because that'll be the next one that I have to watch and do a review on in the next coming week. That was what the topic was for tonight. And if not, come back next week and we're going to talk H2O. And you guys can give me your thoughts on that. But yeah, anybody that has Paramount Plus, you should watch Orphan First Kill. I recommend it. It's really good. So unless you guys got any other questions, I think I'm going to drop off of here. I got to go finish the final edits on my Halloween 5 video. That'll drop this week. Like I said, I think I'm going to do a quick review of a couple Shudder movies, and maybe I'll do a quick review of that Orphan First Kill. Do you watch the Sandman? The last episode wasn't that great? Nope, I haven't started that yet. I figured I'd just wait to the end and watch them all at once later. It's so much I got to watch right now. With everybody want me, the bad part about it is I don't get a lot of traction on my movie reviews, but people want me, like Shudder wants me to review some movies, and I've got a couple other people that have asked me to do some movie reviews. So hopefully I'll get some traction. People like you guys will share my content and let me know some movies you guys like. I used to watch Elvira Elvira was the shit. Elvira, for a 70-year-old woman, she still looks good. And she's still funny as hell. I would watch Elvira to this day if she was on. Bye, everyone. Yeah, appreciate it. Love you. Appreciate for coming by and supporting the channel. Come back next week and we'll talk H2O. Have you seen the Halloween fan film that looks like a documentary? Probably. I watched most Halloween and most Orphan First Kill was good. We won't spoil it here, but did you like the twist? The new twist? I really thought it was good. It was unexpected. I don't know which one you're talking about. Probably I've watched most Halloween fan films and Friday 13th fan films. And there for a while before I started on YouTube, any fan film that came out for Halloween, Friday 13th, or like Texas Chainsaw, all those, I was watching all of them. Never Hike in the Snow. It's Me, Billy. Let me know the name of it, and I'll go back and make sure that I watch it, because I love fan films if they're done with respect of the material. Like Peter that was on here earlier. If you guys haven't watched Roseblood, you need to go check it out. There's a little twist related to Halloween in that too. he is a super uber Friday the 13th fan, and the amount of detail that he put in his fan film shows you how much he cared about it. I spaced on the name, but the creators included all the different storylines. Look for it, you all. It's rad. I'll check that out. I appreciate I'm always looking for some fan film and stuff like that, short stuff that I can watch during my lunch break. That twist was good. Yes, it was. I didn't expect it. So it ended up making the movie interesting, because I was worried that if you knew what the twist was with Esther, what new are they going to put in the movie? And they did an excellent job with that one. So I would have mind going to see that at the theater. And I was late to the game on seeing the first Orphan. It ended up being like way better than I ever imagined. So yeah, I'll check that out. I'll look for that fan film you're talking about. I'll try to get named, because you will love it if you've not seen it. Cheers. Yeah, drop me a message on here or Instagram, JEFFMAN316, or on Twitter. I check all those at least once a day. There's a lot of the Halloween fans that are worried about Halloween Ends and this Corey character that are contacting me on the side all the time, seeing if I found anything new. Sort of have, but I don't want to, like I said, unless I can confirm multiple people have the same news, I try not to report on it. Orphan First Kill was shown in my theater, but didn't know how it would be, so chose to see Bodies this Tuesday. If you've seen the first Orphan and you liked it, then you'll like Orphan First Kill. If you haven't seen the first Orphan, this is a prequel, so you really don't have to, but I think you'd probably enjoy it more if you watch the first movie. It sounds weird watching them out of order as far as timeline goes, but it works. Bodies, I've heard mixed things about, so I'm not wasting any money seeing that. So I'd rather, by the time my wife and I go to a movie, and if we bought popcorn, I can go buy like 2 or 3 movies for the price of that. So I'd rather just buy it for now and save my money for when some better movies come out. But let me know how that is. And that way I'll make sure I watch it whenever it comes out on streaming. All right, well, you know what? I do such a poor job. I didn't even put my banner on here. So to close it out, I'll always tell you, like, comment, subscribe, share, do everything to help me grow this channel, because I love talking movies, especially horror movies. I love all you guys as you show up. Anybody that watches this, like Peter, you can drop me a super chat. You can drop me a Cash App donation, anything to help grow the channel. Any money that I've gotten in the past, has not been a lot, but I've reinvested it in movies and or stuff that I buy, like this sign back here, to put it on the set. So I appreciate all you guys. Anybody that participated tonight, keep coming back, and we'll keep making great content here. I want you guys to keep helping me grow the channel, because like I always say, this is more about us than it is just about me. I love talking about movies, but it's more fun when we can talk about them together. So with that being said, if nobody has anything else, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream, as I always do, and say, this is JEFFMAN316, your pop culture reporter, signing out, saying you guys be safe out there.
Mr. Mayor, Chief, ladies and gentlemen.